Folks, thank you very much for coming this afternoon and giving up your valuable time to listen to me. Just going to have a bit of a speech for the start, and then I'm prepared to answer any questions you have. And even though it's not a debate, I'm pretty keen to listen to everything you'd like to say, so happy to do that. So just a little bit about myself, my background. I was born in Bowen. I have a wife, Raylene. We've been married for 20 years. Raised 3 teenage kids, and through my working life I built up a successful horticulture and property business with interests across the state. So my pets, I've got a couple of dogs, cat, 9 chooks, a couple of horses, so basically a family farm. My hobbies, I love to fish and I like to snow ski, which is probably a little bit unusual sport given the fact that I'm from Bowen. So if ever we get too much snow in Bowen, I hope to get in the snow skiing team. Well, I want to be mayor. I've been in local council for the last 4 years. The last 3 years I've been deputy mayor. The time is right for me to step up, take up the challenge. I'd like to bring my business, management and leadership skills to provide prosperity for the whole region. My leadership style. I'm an independent mayor. I'm not aligned with any political party. I'm not running a team, and I do not have any alliances with any of the current councillors or the current candidates. I will always vote, and I've always voted on any issue on its merits. I'll encourage all the councillors, if I become mayor, I'll encourage all my new councillors to do the same. If you elect me as mayor, I'll take the appropriate time to sit down with all the new councillors, work out the best strategy for the whole region going forward. I lead by example, but I'm focused on unity. I'll build a cohesive team. After all, 7 heads are better than 1. How will I change the council? I'll provide open and full communication with all councillors, not just the councillors where I live. I'll improve the transparency. If we're allowed to, meetings will go online. All votes will be recorded. That way you will know exactly where your councillor stands on every vote, on every issue. All be available online, on the website. So that way if you're not happy, you can tell them firsthand. You can ring me, tell me firsthand. Know exactly where we're going. I pledge better communication with the community. And when major decisions are made, community consultation. People management, one of my strong suits. The business that I had 350 employees. So on a given day, you might start the day talking to the CEO of Coles Mine. This is my tomato business. Start talking to the CEO of Coles Mine. Then you might be talking to a French backpacker down in the trellis tomatoes. Both integral parts of the business, but you have to manage them in slightly different ways. I'll bring back the community and environment directorship. When I first started on council, there was 4 directorships. There was engineering, community environment, corporate services and planning. While the community and environment directorship was removed, which I didn't support. It's been floating around, it was put in planning, didn't quite work. Now it's with engineering. I think it needs its own directorship. Community Environment Directorship is responsible for the very fabric of our society. It's pools, parks, libraries, everything that is involved with the community. And I think, if you're honest, you have a look over the last 4 years, I think the overall maintenance of the places has slipped. I think that needs to come back. And that's not going to come back unless you actually have someone in charge of it. So my top 3 priorities are to unify the region. I want to end the us and them, the north versus south. Do that by providing leadership. Leadership that will be for the region as a whole. I'll work with anyone who's prepared to focus on that. Proper planning and better infrastructure. Within the first 30 days of becoming mayor, I would start on an economic development strategy. That'll be for the whole region. This strategy would then become the blueprint for economic growth within the region. Our region's doing it pretty tough. Australia's doing it tough, but that's not my focus. My focus is on getting this region happening. The strategy would then be aligned with Council's corporate plan, operational plan, and indeed Council's budget. Proper infrastructure planning is important. Well, third priority is to spend council monies wisely. I know how to manage an organisation like WRC, size and scope. Like I said before, my business was, interestingly enough, the same size. I would also like to employ a grants officer. The grants officer would have two roles. Firstly, to secure council money for council. Secondly, the grants officer would be available for any non-for-profit organisations where people could make an appointment, come into council, sit down with the grants officer. If they had a grant, the grants officer could help them fill out the forms. If not, the grants officer could point those people in the right direction. There's been a change in the funding model from state and federal government to council. There were consistent grants that used to come through. Now it's gone to more contestable funding, right? So contestable funding is, you normally have to match that dollar for dollar. So what I'm about is to put on a grants officer and try to leverage our money, the ratepayers' money, and drive that money further. And I note with interest, this building that we're standing in now has been one of those very successful models that started off with a small amount of seed funding and then was leveraged up to make this great facility. So I think you know firsthand how you go about that. It's vitally important for council to have this grants officer, and we really need to make sure that we spend all the money as wisely as what we can. My policies, I realise I'm just one man, but I plan to lead a team of unified councillors who act in the best interest of the whole region. I'd like to state some of my policies. For the whole of the region, I'd like to bring back the 10% early settlement discount for pensioners. The pensioners are our most loyal and longest ratepayers, and I believe in these difficult times we should give them a hand. I would like to overview the hardship policy. I'm committed to making allowances for those in genuine need. I would also like to implement curbside recycling. This has changed a little bit since before. The numbers were run on curbside recycling before and it was deemed too expensive. Now with all our compliances and landfills and how much that costs, those expenses are very high now. So if we can use some of those expenses to offset what it actually costs for the curbside recycling, so we're not putting more of the rubbish into our landfill and prolong the life of that, it's going to be a definite win for everybody. Why I want to be mayor? I want to bring, like I said before, my business, management and leadership skills to provide prosperity to the region. I'll just touch on the Blackcurrant Island boat ramp. I'm fully supportive of the Blackcurrant Island boat ramp proposal. I'm supportive of all boat ramps and associated marine activities within our region. I would like to see the existing ramp facilities at Dingo Beach improved. I moved a motion at Council to provide in principle support for the Blackcurrant project. Unfortunately, the motion was lost 4-3. If I become Mayor, I'll provide the new Council with all of the information on the project and move the motion again. Boat ramps are a state government responsibility and I do not have any firm costings on this project. There are many variables, so I can not make this as an election promise. I just don't have enough information to make an election promise. However, I'm committed to a full due diligence process with all state and federal departments, and providing all boxes are ticked, I would work towards sourcing the funding to make the Blackcurrant Island boat ramp project happen. The Blackcurrant Island all-tide boat ramp is not just about providing better facilities for recreational boaties, it's about enhancing marine safety in the Whitsundays. So that's on my boat, my black currant island boat ramp. Happy to take questions. If any of you guys are on Facebook, if you want to follow me on Facebook, Willcox for Whit Sunday, I'm always posting things. You can have a look at my policies and what I'm about on there. Thank you for your time, and I'll open the floor to questions.